Dr. Tandika Smith.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before I go into my presentation, I wish to extend my warmest congratulations to the Honorable Minister, Dr. Ashni Singh, Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, and his hard-working team for compiling yet another PPPC people-centered budget. Mr. Speaker, in any country where democracy stands strong and stellar leadership is in progress, the people of that country is considered as the most cherished and valuable resource. Therefore, their well-being and livelihoods will be paramount. In this regard, like previous budgets under the PPPC administration, Budget 2024 was drafted with the interests of the people of Guyana at heart. It is a budget that will continue to provide and improve the standard of living, build strong foundations for our future generation, while putting more money in the pockets of every Guyanese and strengthening our economy so that every Guyanese can continue to thrive in every aspect of their lives and live with dignity. Budget 2024 being the largest thus far is definitely a win for every citizen, since it covers every sector in our country and will see the continuation of major developments like never before. Unlike the APNU AFC, we in the PPPC will stay the course while we continue to build prosperity for all. Mr. Speaker, in an attempt to mislead my fellow Guyanese people, there are numerous narratives being peddled by the APNU AFC on various social media platforms regarding Budget 2024. But may I remind everyone that it is said, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. And that is why, as Guyanese, we must never go back to those gloomy days we experienced under the previous APNU AFC government, where we lived some of the worst moments in our country's history, since it was associated with attempted rigged elections in 2020, fired sugar workers, reversing of development such as disenfranchise our children from the Because We Care cash grant, the removal of the year-end bonus from our men and women in uniform, heavy tax burden on cell phones, building materials, medical supplies, mining equipment, scholarships for then ministers and their families, the removal of subsidies for water and light from senior citizens, the increase of then government ministers' salaries, which was done as soon as they took office, house lots for our friends and families, while the poor and ordinary man buckled under heavy economic burdens induced by a group of people without a vision and care for Guyanese people. Mr. Speaker, today there is evidence to prove that in just 3 years in government, we have not only managed to right these wrongs, but we have been able to add additional measures to ensure every household can live a life with dignity. Our government today continues to create measures that will ensure every child, both in public and private school, receive a total of $40,000 in the Because We Care cash grant. Our senior citizens will now benefit from increase of old age pensions from $33,000 to $36,000. This is supported along with monetary support by providing $3,000 for eye testing and an additional $5,000 for the purchase of spectacles. 15,000, sorry. Persons living with disability will no longer receive $16,000, but rather $19,000 to assist with their economic needs. Our women from ages 21 to 65 will now benefit from an $8,000 voucher to aid in the screening of cervical cancer. The removal of VAT from sports equipment and cell phone accessories is also being considered. Mr. Speaker, additionally, our young people from regions 1 to 10 have so far benefited from a total of 21,442 gold scholarships, with a total of 3,431 students graduating over the past 3 years. And this will see an additional 4 billion Guyana dollar that was allocated in this year's budget to further enhance this program. Over 30,000 Guyanese are now proud owners of house lots in just 3 years, against a mere 7,000 that was allocated over 5 years under the APNU AFC government. Mr. Speaker, as we continue to deliver on our manifesto promises, this year the first phase of eliminating students' debt write-off owed by the graduates of the University of Guyana will commence. This is another win for our young people of Guyana. Mr. Speaker, the PPPC government will continue to deliver to every citizen of Guyana, irrespective of their gender, race, political beliefs, religious beliefs, or their geographic location. Mr. Speaker, I wish to turn my attention to Amerindian development. Mr. Speaker, one of the honorable members from the opposite side of this House mentioned that nothing is being done for Amerindian development. But may I remind my fellow Amerindian brothers and sisters that it was the very APNU AFC who voted against $800 million allocated for Amerindian development in Budget 2020. Mr. Speaker, this year, as we continue to deliver to every Guyanese, a total of 9 billion Guyana dollars is allocated toward the continuous development of our Amerindian communities all across Guyana. Some of these areas include $1.2 billion allocated towards direct employment and skills training through the CSO program. And may we be reminded that it was under the APNU AFC, 2,000 young Amerindian brothers and sisters were fired, leaving them unable to enhance their economic and academic lives. Further, a total of 105 million Guyana dollars was allocated towards the Hinterland Scholarship Program in 2024, which will see young Amerindian men and women well on their way on achieving their academic dreams. Mr. Speaker, already our Amerindian communities are benefiting from sale of carbon credits, which will see the further enhancement of hinterland locations. Mr. Speaker, as I turn my attention to health, with this year's allocation of $129.8 billion Guyana dollars, healthcare in Guyana will continue to improve significantly. Already in just 3 years, we have achieved to provide adequate care for patients in hinterland locations through our telemedicine program. Our pregnant mothers can now access adequate antenatal care through ultrasound laboratory tests and consults with OBGYN specialists. Patients with chronic renal diseases are now able to access 600,000 Guyana dollars financial assistance for dialysis treatment. Upgrade and construction was so far done for a total of 271 healthcare facilities and staff facilities across Guyana. Mr. Speaker, already the construction of the state-of-the-art maternal and pediatric hospital has commenced, with a total of $10 billion being injected in this year's budget to see the completion of same, a major investment towards the well-being of Guyanese. Additionally, we will continue to see major upgrades of regional hospitals in regions 2, 3, and 7 at an estimated cost of 1.5 billion Guyana dollars. Mr. Speaker, we understand and we respect our biopsychosocial being in its entirety. Thus, we will continue to focus on mental health, by training healthcare professionals at various facilities to intervene with counseling and management of patients suffering with illnesses such as substance abuse and other psychological alterations. Mr. Speaker, as I turn my attention now to development in region number 3. Mr. Speaker, like every region, Region 3 continues to see major developments in various sectors. As we speak, a total of 286 roads across the region are being upgraded and built as we cater for better accessibility and growth in this region. The new 4-lane Demerara Harbor Bridge is currently under construction. The current Schoonard 4-lane highway is well on its way to be completed in June of 2024. All of this will help to ease the heavy traffic burden experienced by commuters, yet another win for Guyanese traversing Region 3. Mr. Speaker, in education so far, a total of 3,385 persons in Region 3 have benefited from the Gold Scholarship Program. Our children across the region continues to benefit from the school feeding program. Mr. Speaker, already various schools in Region 3 have been completed under the PPPC government, namely the Tushan Primary School, a state-of-the-art secondary school in Westminster, the Arterville Primary School in Wakenham. Additionally, yet another state-of-the-art Tushan Secondary School is well on its way of completion, which will further cater for an additional 800 students. This speaks volume of our commitment to the education sector. Mr. Speaker, in our 2020 manifesto, we promised 50,000 house lots in 5 years. Today alone, in Region 3, over 6,000 persons have benefited from allotted lands. Mr. Speaker, so far in Region 3, 18 health centers and facilities have benefited from rehabilitation works, namely some of these: the Hog Island Health Post, Saxicali Health Center, Purika Health Center, Viva La Force, the construction of living quarters at Murishi, and the enhancement of the HDU unit at the West Demerara Regional Hospital, just to name a few. Mr. Speaker, patients across Region 3 continue to benefit from the availability of more drugs and medical supplies as compared to what they receive under the APNU AFC government. Surgical, clinical laboratory and imaging services continue to meet the needs of every citizen seeking medical attention across Region 3. For the year 2023, a total of 1,348 safe deliveries were done in Region number 3, with a total of 274 delivered via cesarean section and 1,074 done via normal deliveries. Mr. Speaker, a total of 1,138 patients were able to receive other surgical procedures within Region number 3. Mr. Speaker, training for patient care assistants will commence shortly as we recognize the importance of training for more persons within the nursing fraternity. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member, Mr. Ganesh Mahipal, mentioned that the Leonora Hospital is in a poor state of affairs, but may I remind him and the public that the Leonora Hospital continues to function fully with an inpatient service, outpatient service, accident and emergency service, while providing laboratory, imaging such as x-rays and ultrasound, services such as VIA clinics, screening for patients with cataract, pterygium, and diabetic retinopathy. Mr. Speaker, additionally, very soon we will be able to offer minor surgeries at this institution. Mr. Speaker, as time may not permit me to continue further, I wish to encourage every Guyanese, and especially my young people in this country, to ignore the fallacies and flowery words of a good life trumpeted by the APNU AFC members. There is no better time in history than what we are living now. This is the future. This is the government that will ensure your dreams and aspirations become a reality. This is the government that will continue to deliver on our promises and ensure that your children and generations to come live a better life. I therefore commend Budget 2024 for consideration and passage in this Honorable House. Thank you.
Thank you very